So I originally got started out of the Illinois Media School, formerly the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, through a radio ad that I saw on The Score. At the time, I wanted to be on the radio because that sounded super cool. But while I was at school there, I got to learn lots of other skills, and that got me interested in directing, which is what I do now here at WIFR. I am in charge of the newscasts and prepare them and execute them during the live news shows. While I was at Illinois Media School, I was able to get the basis of skills that allowed me to get this job, and I learned how to operate cameras and work on the equipment, and that helped me greatly in getting this job. As far as school students, you got a chance to meet with lots of different types of people and collaborate with them and work on projects together. And I feel like that gives you a great chance to learn how to work in the industry, because you're always going to be working with people, and it just helps you get a feel for what it's actually like out there. My name is Ben Forrest. I am the Senior Director at WIFR in Rockford, Illinois, and I am IMS.
Welcome back to Iowa Football 365, covering pro football around the world. It's been a long, strange trip, Mark, but we are back after a little bit of hiatus. I had a small family issue. Then Mark decided to get sick on the worst timing ever.
Yeah, so between our health and some family stuff, we had to take a little bit of a step away. But it's great to be back. We have so much football to talk about. We have a great show ahead of us. Let's talk a little bit about that, actually. We got some great guests.
Yeah, Anthony Ionati from the Omaha Beef is making a return call to us. Lots of great to talk about in the Canadian Football League. And then also Darren Clark, the Quad City Steam Wheelers. Can't we talk about a new expansion team coming to the CIF?
Yeah, so Anthony got re-signed, and Darren got his free agent signing. So it's exciting to talk about both of those players about the upcoming season in the CIF. And of course, as always, we got lots of news, and I want to make sure that we talk about it right here, right now. As I had said from episode 1, the road through the Grey Cup will go through Toronto.
That's why you're wearing blue, isn't it?
It's happening. The Double Blue are going to win it all, folks. I've been saying it all along, and since day one, and they did it. They ended up getting first, and they get a bye week, and the road through the Grey Cup has to go through Toronto. Ricky Ray's been breaking records. S.J. Green's looking like he's the offspring of T.O. and Chad Ochocinco out there.
I feel like we can get about 5-minute long rant.
Oh, it's happening.
About this.
Whitaker's out there blowing everybody up. Combs is taking care of business. There's just so much speed on the field, and I don't think they're ready for it. Trustman's got them ready to rock and roll. I think they'd have 4 more wins. There were so many close games. They should have a better record than they do, but ultimately they finished first, and we're going to see them soon, in the next couple of weeks, most likely. We'll talk about that later, but I'm guessing it's going to be against the Rough Riders.
But we'll talk about that soon. But we'll be back for a short 1-minute break here on Iowa Football 365, covering pro football around the world with Anthony Ionati.
So I originally got started out of the Illinois Media School, formerly the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, through a radio ad that I saw on The Score. At the time, I wanted to be on the radio because that sounded super cool. But while I was at school there, I got to learn lots of other skills, and that got me interested in directing, which is what I do now here at WIFR. I am in charge of the newscasts and prepare them and execute them during the live news shows. While I was at Illinois Media School, I was able to get the basis of skills that allowed me to get this job, and I learned how to operate cameras and work on the equipment, and that helped me greatly in getting this job. As far as school students, you got a chance to meet with lots of different types of people and collaborate with them and work on projects together. And I feel like that gives you a great chance to learn how to work in the industry, because you're always going to be working with people, and it just helps you get a feel for what it's actually like out there. My name is Ben Forrest. I am the Senior Director at WIFR in Rockford, Illinois, and I am IMS.
All right, welcome back to Iowa Football 365, covering pro football around the world. It's a good time to mess that up. But on the phone, we have Omaha Beef quarterback Anthony Ionati joining us. Thank you very much, Anthony. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, guys. How about you?
Man, loving football. It's that time of the year. Lots of moves are happening in the offseason in the CIF, and I was excited to see when you got re-signed with the Beef. Congratulations, brother.
Thanks, man. And, making it to the championship last year and achieving everything that we did as a team, coming up a little bit short, it's really exciting for me to get back with the Beef and give it another run.
Yeah, that was a great team and a great postseason run and a great championship game. 59-49 against the Revolution, but it's almost like you just ran out of game. If you had a little bit more time, it seemed like you could have taken that game to even. Because it was a great game the whole way through.
Yeah, I definitely think, as a team, we achieved a lot. We had a lot of youth, a lot of rookies on our team, guys that, were just getting their first shot, and I think that definitely caught up to us in the end. But, the Revolution were a great team all season long. They had a great quarterback in Chris Dixon, one of the best to play the game, and, obviously a great coach and Coach Mann, who's now going to be heading up the Beef. And, I was really excited to hear that he was coming aboard, and I'm really excited to get to work with him because I know he's bringing a winning attitude to Omaha.
Absolutely, and I know you got some unfinished business. For those viewers who have not tuned in before, Anthony's a local product. He actually came out of Schaumburg High School and also played for the local Chicago Chaos, won 3 championships with that team, and then has gone on to have an amazing pro career. And you don't know this, Anthony, but this is Michael's first year, really paying attention to indoor and arena. And he paid you an amazing compliment the other day, and I wanted to put him on the spot and make him do it on air about you being one of the top 4 quarterbacks in all of the leagues.
Oh, yeah, you just dominated, especially in the postseason. Really just seemed like the team was gelling together. So I'm pretty excited to see what you're doing this year with the new head coach, new scheming, and having another year under your belt with this indoor game. It also impressed me that you had 3 straight championship games with the Chaos in your first year in the indoor league. You go right back to championship game. So just the attitude of winning and the ability to lead guys together as part of a team, you just did a great job.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, and it's nice to see that all the hard work is being noticed, by others. And, definitely, like you were saying, only my second year last year, and going forward, I really think, with the coaching that we're going to have and the experience that they're going to put around me, I think it's only going to lead to even more success and even more achievements going forward. And I just think the jump from year 2 to year 3 is going to be pretty big, so look out.
Had they given you a feeling on what the changes are going to be, or can you not really talk about that just yet?
We haven't gotten really into all the schemes and stuff like that, but I know Coach Mann and them are doing a really good job out there, getting some good players signed, getting some good experience in there, and, in the next month or so, we'll probably start sitting down and talking about, playbooks and system and all that kind of stuff. But for right now, it's just enjoying the off season, getting back into training, and getting that body right, and
every few days we see a post.
Grueling season.
We see a post. The Omaha Beef added another guy in free agency, so this team looks like it could be really making more strides.
Oh yeah, just the guys that they've already signed. A couple guys from Sioux City. We got a couple guys returning from last year's team already. Our center and one of our DBs, and it's nice that they're building a solid core of veteran players, which is always important in this league.
Of course, and then the league has changed a little bit. A couple of teams have left, and a couple of teams have joined. So the face of the league has changed a little bit too, but I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think the Beef will definitely be on top as far as one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, I believe so, and definitely looking at it, Bloomington and West Michigan left for the IFL. Sioux City's still there, obviously, and that rivalry is going to continue to be a heated one. Coach Ross going over and starting up with Quad Cities, they're going to be a competitive team. But I definitely think that the North Division title is going to run through Omaha, so I'm excited, and hopefully we can get back to the championship and come out on the right side this year.
I think there's going to be lots of cowbells ringing in the stadium over there this year for you as people are cheering you on. It seems like Omaha really embraced you as their quarterback in the face of the franchise.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of re-signing with Omaha is that fan base out there. They're so passionate and, so involved in the team and, game day and, making that environment one of the best to play in. And, it's really important for me as a player to reward those fans. And, it's definitely one of my main motivators is bringing them a championship that they haven't had in, the 18 years they've existed. So
that is a crazy stat to hear.
It's going to be big for us.
Well, I think this is the year. I feel like that's it's in your DNA. You know how to win. You know how to lead others to do the same, and there's a belief factor that comes in that huddle when you're looking at everybody, and they know that you're going to put that ball on the money. We just watched a highlight, and you throwing down the field is something that you're never afraid to do. You don't mind taking the big shot to put your team ahead.
Yeah, and that's that's one big thing too is just confidence and going from my second year to my third year, it's time to you can't have that excuse of I'm a rookie or I'm a second year player. You kind of got to take that leap, and I'm a veteran now. I got to be able to lead these guys, and they're all looking up to me. I got to make the big plays when we need them, and that's something I'm looking forward to is taking on that challenge.
Well, and you did it well. I mean, there was no sophomore slump for you, if I'm correct. A grand total of 52 touchdowns altogether between rushing and passing. Is that about right?
Yeah, I believe so.
And I mean, that's pretty remarkable, man. I mean, those numbers are astounding, and I think they're actually going to get better for you this year because the comfortability factor has got to be like, well, you do have a handle on this game. You are one of the top players in the league, and it shows in your poise and being able to get out there and make the big play, whether it's with your arm or your feet.
Yeah, exactly, and it's exactly what you said. It's being comfortable. Knowing that you can compete at this level and, just being confident in your coaching staff, putting you in the right place to succeed. And I have all the confidence in the world in Coach Mann and his staff to, get us there.
Was there a moment where you thought to yourself, I belong here, I can play here, or has it been just a gradual transition?
After my first year with Chicago, our team didn't have the greatest amount of success. And obviously, coming from, Schaumburg High School and with the chaos, I was not used to losing. And having a 3-9 season was something that was very foreign to me. And so, I had some doubts. I knew I could play, but, I wasn't sure, how much of it I could make. And, after last year and then going into this year, I just been in a whole different mindset. I feel like, I can't compete with anyone in this league. Obviously I still have a lot to learn. I have a lot to improve on, and, I'm open and willing to accept any coaching, and, I'm always going to be striving to get better, obviously, but, just the confidence of knowing that I can compete and, lead a team to a championship and hopefully to a CIF championship is, hopefully on the horizon.
Well, as we've been talking to you here, they've been showing some old school highlights of you with the chaos, and I got to tell you, I miss those days, man. You firing the football all over the field, touchdown after touchdown, finding the open man. It's beautiful to watch you play, man. You do a great job at what you do, and you make players around you better.
I can see the nostalgia in his eyes.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I miss the Chaos family. It all started there pretty much, and I owe you and Mike Melody and Rick and all those guys everything, because without any of that, it probably wouldn't have ever happened. So.
Well, it's like we said from day one when I met you, man. I knew where you were going to be heading, and you're still writing the book. You're only beginning here, and you deserve to be exactly where you're at. And I only see bigger and better things for you as you go.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Obviously, I'm trying to make everybody, all my supporters, proud, and I do it for my family and my friends, and honestly, for all the people that said I couldn't and, would never make it. And that's, all the motivation I need to work as hard as I possibly can to go as far as I can in this game. And, I think I'm doing just that.
It's always nice to say, look at me now.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if we could ask you to scout yourself, as you've improved throughout your career, what do you think has been your biggest improvement as a quarterback, and what do you feel like you should work on for this offseason? Or don't want you to give away too many beans just yet, but what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think in terms of the indoor game, my ability to run and extend the play is definitely something that helps me. It makes me a dual threat, and it makes defenses not be able to compensate for one thing. But going into this year, my biggest focus is just going to be pocket presence, going through all the reads, and just making sure that I'm making good decisions and obviously not turning the ball over, which is the biggest thing for quarterbacks.
Sure. And have you found like your comfort zone? Is there like a handful of plays that you're like, wow, this is a play that I know I'm going to get 10 yards on. It's not going to be a problem to get a first down. Like, I'm going to complete this every time. Have you found your comfortability with, forward motion with your receivers?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's tough. Especially each year when you have a whole new group of receivers. But I think the coaches do a good job in game planning. It all depends on what the defense is giving you, and I think depending what we're given, we're always going to be able to take advantage of something and get what we want, and that's really all you can ask for.
Well, obviously, I know you're from the area, and I want to shift gears for a second. What do you think about our Mitch Trubisky over here with the Chicago Bears? How's he looking so far in your eyes, now that they've thrown him into the fire?
Honestly, I think he's doing pretty well with, what he's got. The Bears don't have much to offer as far as skill players on the outside with Kevin White and Alshon Jeffrey going to Philly and, a few other injuries. But I think the experience that he's getting now is good, and he's getting that, rookie experience out of the way, and hopefully the next year or so they can surround him with some more weapons and give him a better chance. But
yeah, his core isn't all that thick right now.
No. I mean, it's remarkable that he's able to do what he's been doing with what he's got around him. I'm assuming you've been paying attention to the NFL. Who your front runners so far? I mean, are these people for real, or are they pretenders here? What do you think about these Philadelphia Eagles and like the Kansas City Chiefs of the world? Or are they just regular season heroes here, and they're going to flop in the playoffs? Or are we going to see the normal teams like New England and so on actually make it happen? What's your thoughts?
Well, that's funny you say that, because the Eagles are. They look like a really dominant team right now, and Carson Wentz coming out of the FCS, same conference as Northern Iowa where I played. He's just making leaps and bounds from year 1 to year 2.
Yeah, but
another team that comes to mind is the Rams.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The Rams are playing really well, but like you said, when it comes to playoff time, that's where the men separate themselves from the boys, and it's going to be interesting to see if quarterbacks like Goff and Wentz, who are in year 2, are able to have the same success in the playoffs against guys like Brady and Russell Wilson, those kind of guys.
Well, even it looks like Breeze is still remarkable. You don't think too much of the Saints, but they're in first place right at the moment.
Right.
So you got your veterans in there, and I'm still it's still too early when it comes to the NFL with injuries. You don't know who the contenders and the pretenders really are just yet. I kind of feel like the Eagles could be the Panthers of a couple of years ago. You know what I mean? They're hitting their stride at the right time, and they're going to annihilate everybody in the regular season. But when it comes to the playoffs, they might trip over their own shoelace. That's just how I feel like it might happen. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I mean,
we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, they look like a complete team to me. But like you said, it's all a different game when it comes to playoff time, and especially as you get deeper into the playoffs, those good coaches and those good quarterbacks really step it up, and that's where the difference is made.
Well, the other thing I want to talk to you about, because I know over the years I've gotten an opportunity to brief you on it, but the CFL has got their playoffs going on right now, and As you know, my favorite team is number 1 in the East. They got their bye week. Ricky Ray is kind of like the Peyton Manning of the CFL, in my opinion. He's been
around forever.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time. It's 15 seasons, and he's still breaking records. Mark Trestman's got him throwing the ball all over the place. He threw for over 5,000 yards this year. So my early season pick, obviously, I know I wear blinders because they're my favorite team, but they are exactly where I said they would be, and the road through the Grey Cup has to go through Toronto. And so this weekend up, the playoffs are coming up, and I don't know if you've been paying attention to it at all, but, what a world it would be next year for you to win with the Beef, for the Argonauts to win this year and Ricky Ray to retire, and you just to kind of move on into that situation up in Toronto, man. I've been trying to speak this into existence for years, but you never know. Not trying to take you away from Omaha or anything. I'm just saying that, sometime soon in the near future, Mark Trestman's going to have an opening up there in Toronto, and you might be the guy he's looking for.
You're quite the agent, Mark. You're like connecting those dots for everyone.
I love doing that. I love doing that.
Helping people out left and right. Solutions are right here, people.
The solutions are here. They just need to tune in to I Want Football 365 and listen to what we have to say, and we'll navigate people in the right direction for good fits.
The funny thing is like a lot of people don't really realize that the Canadian League is a lot more similar to the indoor game than people realize. Obviously, it's a bigger field and a lot more space, but they still utilize the high motion and a lot of the same rules that the indoor game uses over the NFL. So a transition to that wouldn't necessarily be the hardest thing in the world either. So.
That's good. The hardest thing is getting used to that, the waggle, the forward motion. But once you get used to as quarterback, you have to love it, I would assume.
Oh, yeah. It makes your life so much easier. I mean, obviously in the indoor game, it's a lot tougher because of the field, being so much smaller. But, get out on a CFL field where it's, even larger than an NFL field. Mm-hmm. I haven't been there, but I would imagine it would make life as a quarterback pretty dang fun.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at. I mean, right now you're basically playing in a giant cigar box, and and you're able to accomplish the things you're able to accomplish and the numbers that you're able to accomplish. Imagine doubling that and then giving you all that room with a bunch of skilled positions who are fast all over the field. I mean, they play 12 on 12 up there, and to have that many weapons to choose from, I mean, I feel like you'd be cherry picking out there. And the fact that you can run and get space, it would just be the same kind of problems that the defenses would face in the indoor game with you would be compounded in the CFL game.
Oh yeah, and I've followed the CFL quite a bit over the years. I've had a lot of friends from college and, guys that I've met through various teams that have played up there, and I've followed them. And, just watching those games, it looks like a blast. And, I've always dreamt of getting up there one day. And, I've had a couple tryouts and a couple workouts with some teams and been, really close on the doorstep. And so, after a couple of years of success in indoor, who knows, maybe I can give it another shot and see where it goes.
Yeah, one of the big things you need for the CFL is a big arm, and I think you have that.
Yes.
That field, you have a lot of ground to cover. And you have the accuracy from the indoor game because, like you said, that field is small. That means the defenses can use the sidelines pretty effectively as the extra cover person. So having the ability of big arm with a good accuracy is a deadly combination.
Right, and I think the biggest thing that the indoor game has taught me is just, the speed of the game and, having to process things so much quicker and get the ball out so much faster, and the windows that you're thrown into are closing twice as fast as normal. And I really think as a quarterback it helps develop your skills in a different way than you would normally have to deal with in an outdoor setting. And I think it's only going to help me if I ever do transition back to an outdoor style game.
I agree. As a matter of fact, you actually, as I'm listening to you, you remind me of an interview that Kurt Warner does when he talks about his transition from arena to the outdoor game and how it affected his game and how he was able to make quicker decisions than most quarterbacks do and put balls into tight windows where most quarterbacks wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. And, a lot of people just don't realize, like, they see the arena game and they say, oh, well, those scores are, in the 60s and 70s and it must be easy, but it's really not. It's not any easier as a quarterback. You really have to, work on your game and really improve in a lot of areas. And, The scores might be high, but that's just due to the field being shorter. It's not due to the, game being easier by any means.
That's correct. No, it's definitely high energy football, and it's exciting for us because we got Quad City Steamwheelers. They're here in Illinois, so when the Beef are coming to Illinois this year, we're going to make sure that we are out there cheering you on personally, and our goal is to come to as many of your games this year as possible. We're looking forward to it, brother.
Oh yeah, you guys are more than welcome. Definitely got to come out to the Slaughterhouse for a game. Make sure you guys are well taken care of.
It's an experience of a lifetime from what I've gathered, and we must experience that. So, if ideally, as soon as that schedule comes out, if we could come out for the home opener, that would be great because I'm sure it'll be electrifying.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, one last question.
I'm pretty sure the schedule is out. I'm pretty sure the home opener is March 3rd or March 10th. I think it's the 10th.
Really? That's perfect. That's
maybe it's the 3rd.
If it's either way, that's my birthday week, so happy birthday to me. I'm coming out.
They designed it for you.
Yeah, you put this together for me, I could tell. So I'm going to be coming out for my birthday to come watch the home opener. That's happening, brother.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait.
All right, well, one last question, important one. Who wins the Grey Cup this year for the Canadian Football League?
Well, I got to go with Mark's Toronto Argonauts.
Oh, God, what's wrong with you people?
I think with Trustman there, especially, after his NFL stint, he, probably brings a dimension to that league and to that team that a lot of other teams don't have. So
you can tell his mind
is edge to him, I think.
His mind just works this CFL because the offenses he draws up just work every season.
Yeah, it's a mad. He's a mad scientist when it comes to getting people, that offense up and running. I mean, it's a beautiful thing to watch. When you get a chance to, when they have that championship game in a couple of weeks in Toronto, I highly recommend watching it, man, because it's going to be a fun game.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
All right, Anthony, thank you again for being on the show as always. Congratulations again for being re-signed with the Omaha Beef. We know you're going to have a great season in 2018. I'm sure we'll talk plenty before then, but we're looking forward to coming out to that home opener, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. Thanks again.
All right, well, back. Let's go to commercial right now on Iowa Football 365, covering football around the world. And that was Anthony Ionati.
And when we come back, we're going to have Darren Clark of the Quad City Steamwheelers, which is a expansion team in the CIF this year. We're real excited to have him on board, and we'll be with you after this commercial break.
Hey everybody, I'm Pete Ferrari, the Regional Station Manager of the BeOnAir.com network, part of the Illinois Media School, both the Lombard campus and the Chicago campus. I've been part of the Illinois Media School family now for almost 10 years. I enrolled as a student back in 2007 after getting my undergrad and associates at Creighton University. I decided to come to Illinois Media School to further my education in the world of broadcasting. That then led me to work as an on-air talent for Radio Disney, AM 1300, for over 6 years. I also worked in promotions for them and did some production. I also worked for KFLN Radio, AM 960, a country station, and I worked for KJJM The Rock, a classic rock station. After my tenure with both Disney and KFLN and KJJM, I moved to the sports side of things and became a play-by-play announcer for the Big East Digital Network, covering primarily college volleyball. I'm glad to have stayed and been a part of the family. I returned in 2009 as one of the assistants for the sports stations and now help run and operate all 5 radio stations in the network. One of the biggest things I enjoy about working here is coming from the perspective of a student, not only a college student, but a student at this school, finding out ways to continually expand the knowledge base of what the students learn. The way to describe the students of this school is very dynamic, very unique, and very employable. And the reason I put that word at the end is they come in with a drive, they come in with a passion. It's a short program, it's less than a year, but within that time they're gaining the skills that when they graduate, they're right alongside every other college graduate, if not in certain ways and aspects ahead of them, because we don't treat our students just as students, we treat our students as pre-professionals. So the first week of class, you could be out doing play-by-play for a sporting event, you could be doing camera or sideline reporting, you could be interviewing a band, you could be doing a show, all of that almost from day one. And that's why we treat you as pre-professionals, treat them as pre-professionals, because we know they have what it takes. They came here for a reason, so we want to take that passion from day one and implement that out in the field. So that way, they're not waiting their 9 months to get involved and learn the skill. They're learning the skill from day one. So I look forward to working with anybody that comes through these walls, as I did years ago, and training them to get a job so one day I can go and listen to them on the radio or watch them on television, which I do with so many different people that have come through the halls of IMS. Again, I'm Pete Ferreri, play-by-play for the Big East Digital Network. I am the regional station manager for the 5 radio and web stations here, and I am IMS.
So I originally got started out of the Illinois Media School, formerly the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, through a radio ad that I saw on the Score. At the time, I wanted to be on the radio because that sounded super cool. But while I was at school there, I got to learn lots of other skills, and that got me interested in directing, which is what I do now here at WIFR. I am in charge of the newscasts and prepare them and execute them during the live news shows. While I was at Illinois Media School, I was able to get the basis of skills that allowed me to get this job, and I learned how to operate cameras and work on the equipment, and that helped me greatly in getting this job. As far as school students, you know, you got a chance to meet with lots of different types of people and you know, collaborate with them and work on projects together. And I feel like that gives you a great chance to learn how to work in the industry, because you're always going to be working with people, and it just helps you get a feel for what it's actually like out there. My name is Ben Forrest. I am the Senior Director at WIFR in Rockford, Illinois, and I am IMS.
Welcome back to Iowa Football 365, covering pro football around the world, and we have a guest from the Quad City Steamwheelers, Darren Clark. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
How you doing?
Doing great.
How you guys doing?
Real good, real good. Well, thank you for finally being so patient with us after all this time. We know you contacted us a while ago about wanting to be on the show, which we definitely appreciate. And then, you know, life got in the way for us with family emergencies and my health not being 100%. And I know I wanted to do the show last week, and we couldn't because I got sick. So I can't tell you how much we appreciate your patience and finally getting on the show here with us today.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it for having me.
Well, you have a great story. I can't wait to hear it, because you've been everywhere. You are a Johnny Cash song. That's not the right artist, is it? But I went through all the teams you went through. You've gone to Canada. You've gone through Arena, different leagues, so indoor football leagues.
And that's kind of what our show is all about. You know, we like to follow the journey. Not everybody understands the journey above and beyond. Some people believe that, you know, you register for the NFL draft, you either get drafted or you don't get drafted, and that's the end of the road. They don't realize that there's another journey that can be taken. And you've had a pretty amazing career for, you know, since 2009. You've been a wonderful journeyman and had an opportunity to play with a lot of different teams. And then this year you're playing for an expansion team, you know, the Quad City Steamwheelers. We're kind of looking at, you know, would like to talk to you about that journey and how it all began for you, and how did you learn about indoor and arena football?
Well, my first arena team I played was Orlando Predators, and I was coached by Coach Pat O'Hara, and I learned under guys like T.T. Tolliver, Josh Bush, Robert T. Rover, Nick Hill, and my mentor George LaFrance and Roxy Jackson. And learning from them guys, I learned how to run the routes, like get in the middle of the field so I can use my two-way go when I run posts or corners. So I fell in love with the arena game, so here we are today.
That's amazing. And, you know, out of all the different experiences that you have experienced, you know, what were some of the stops that you've made along the way that had, like, bigger impacts on you than others?
Well, coming out of Steelman College, I attended the workout at University of Alabama, and I was able to work out in front of all 32 teams in the NFL, and was able to work out for the Cleveland Browns. And then 2009, in the fall, I was split up in the UFL with the New York Sentinels, And then after the season, I got a call from Coach Mark Trestman, who was the head coach for the Bears. He was my coach in Montreal for the Alouettes.
Yeah.
And then after I was released from Canada, I got a call to go to the Orlando Predators on the Pat O'Hara, and my arena journey had been started since April 2011.
Now, how was it? What was the transition like for you personally, playing going from outdoor to indoor? What was it like for you, like the rule changes and so on?
So Canada helped me a lot because I was able to work on my motions. Because, in Canada, like 3 receivers in motion, one of the guys moving into the quarterback say height. So that kind of helped me a lot when I came to the arena game, so I knew how to motion. But when I got to the arena game, I had to learn from, like, the players I named, T.T. Toliver, like his style of taking the cornerback to the middle of the field, looking at him while the ball in the air, Josh Bush with his speed. So I looked at that, and I put it in my game and used my height. So that's why they call me Speedy.
And
I just do what I do, use my speed, take the receiver to the middle of the field or the cornerback to the middle of the field, and just make plays.
if you can learn from anyone, T.T. Toliver is a great guy to learn it from, because he's just an all-around great player.
Yeah, he's a definite future Hall of Famer, that's for sure. So you had an opportunity to learn from one of the best. And you're right, speed does kill, especially when it comes to football and indoor and arena in general. And you know, Speedy on the steam wheeler sounds really good. I think there's a marketing program right there that we could work out for you. You know.
I think that's a great situation to be able to play for 2 states, because the Quad City is 4 cities, and it's 2 in Iowa and it's 2 in Illinois. So if I was winning the championship, that'd be unique to win it for 2 states at one time.
Well, I like where
your head's at, right?
I like the bravado already, talking about winning championship in their first year of existence. What can you say so far about the Steam Wheelers? And the culture. Are you excited about the players that they're signing? Do you know some of the players that are already there, or what's your thoughts?
I'm so excited right now. I'm ready to get out there tomorrow. The first conversation I had with Coach. Like, I'm the first veteran he signed this year so far, so it was like we bonded it from the first conversation to the workout I went to, all the coaches, Coach Ross, the other Coach Ross, and Coach Stevenson, we all bonded. And he told me when it's camp time, he wanted me to come in there and set the tempo, be a leader, be a voice in the locker room. So that's my thing. And I know one veteran that we signed, Maurice Young, so it'll be a good look for the receiver corps.
Well, I'm excited for you. You guys are close enough. Our show is out of Illinois, so we've already discussed that we are going to be coming to a lot of your games. So I'm looking forward to meeting you in person, as we will be coming to some Quad City Steam Wheeler games this year, and if not all of them. I mean, you're close enough. We're based right out of Lombard, Illinois, so it's only like a 3-hour drive for us. So I'm looking forward to. We're going to show you some love for sure. We'll be out there, and maybe we'll even do some shows at the actual game.
But the only thing is, I'm counting it as an Illinois team because it's in Moline, Illinois.
Yes,
so
we're counting it as the Illinois team. We're going to say Moline, Illinois, and we're going to come out and support you guys. You guys are the Illinois team this year.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, and I also played in Bloomington, so that's one of the teams in Illinois.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna win the championship this year in the CIF. I'm calling it right now.
Well, you heard it here first, folks.
All right.
Darren Clark's calling it out. I mean, the Steve Wheelers, in their inaugural season, he plans on getting a championship. That would be quite the feat.
We coming in camp ready to go. We ready. Like, our main focus is to win week by week. Playoff round 1, 2. And just take it off.
How exciting is it to be part of the creation of or at least the rebirth of the franchise, be able to do something new, change it how you see fit?
Oh, man. I had talked to Big Wall in 99. He was there 2000 and 2001 when they won the 2 championships. The first year they went 19-0, and the second year they won 18-1, but they won the championship.
They slapped off.
Big Wall played with me in Orlando Predators. So when I looked up the team, the history of the team, I seen him on there, and we were real close when we were at the Predators. So he one of the guys I looked up to. And I also talked to JJ Redding. He was the quarterback there, and they both gave me the same thing. They told me the same thing, that the organization, they strong, the fans strong, and you'll feel good about the fans around you, the city, and you'll enjoy yourself. Just play ball.
It's a beautiful city too.
You know, while we're sitting here talking to you, I'm having some opportunity to watch some highlights of you, brother, and you're doing some amazing things on the field, and defenses are going to have a hard time with you this year. I assume you're not only going to be playing receiver, but I'm assuming you're going to get out there and do some kickoff returning as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be playing a little running back, too, get back in my high school style of running the ball.
Oh, nice.
Because I never played receiver until I went to college.
Okay.
Charles McCullum, the MVP from the IFL, me and him played together in college. And he the one that changed my position from running back to receiver. So he was like, you the fastest guy in the SIAC. And so he was like, run a 9 route. So he just throw it deep, and I go get it. I average 42.7 yards per catch in college. And I just fell in love with the position of receiver, and it was better on my body because I wasn't taking that many hits. But right now, I'm ready to run the ball, receiver, kick return. If a DB go down, I can play cornerback as well.
Well, you're going to have to talk. You're going to have to talk to the coach about renaming your title as an OW, and we're just going to call you an offensive weapon.
I like that.
Yeah, that's what you are. You're an OW. You're going to have to be in your own category because you can't be defined by one position just from what I'm watching on your highlights alone.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So you're saying earlier that the way you got to learn wide receivers was learning from the guys who've done the routes before. How long did it take you to feel comfortable with all the routes and all that kind of stuff?
I got comfortable real quick with it because all I had to do was just like listen to the guys and do what they doing. Like, 'cause I had to, like, all of them had different styles. Like I was saying, TT, he was more smooth with the routes. Josh was speedy with the routes. Robert Q. Rogan, he was like that fourth down receiver. If it's 4th and 13, you getting the ball, he gonna get that first down. So I put all their talent into one, and I try my best to make a play every time I touch the ball. Like, I don't like going down on the first tackle, so it gonna take at least 5 to 6 guys to get me on the ground, and that's my main focus, just get the ball in my hand and make the play, the 50-50 catches. That's something my coach taught me in Richmond, Coach Fuller. Like, make the 50-50 catches, do what you got to do, get in the end zone, and we're going to win. Defense get us 3 stops, and offense putting up points, we're going to win.
Well, the thing I'm seeing from a lot of these videos is what you're talking about earlier is not going down at first contact, because these guys are going to have you wrapped up, they're spinning you, but you plant a hand and you keep on going for extra yardage. That's pretty frustrating for defensive back to go through that all game long.
Yeah, I hip toss them. You know, they get on your hips. You got to hip toss them. You know that when you were young, you learned how to hula hoop. So that's where that come from. I just hip toss them, get them off me, get in there zone.
Wow, I just basically, it's funny, as you were saying it, you basically just hip tossed a bunch of people and took a kickoff return for a touchdown. So that was good commentary on your own highlight, whether you realized it or not. But yeah, I mean, you can tell with the kind of talent and the heart that you play with is one thing, but you also are an extreme student of the game, as it would say. You know, most people have the talent, but they don't necessarily pay attention and take something away from all the different people that you've had an opportunity to learn from.
Oh yeah, like I was always told, stay in my books, like study the game. Like when I went to work out with the Browns, I seen a lot of players like older than me who I wanted to be like them. And I got an opportunity to go to the UFL the first year of the UFL. Also, Coach Ross, my coach for the Quad City, he played in the UFL, and he was the leading all-purpose running back.
Oh.
I also learned from like people in the UFL who had like 5-6 years NFL experience. They showed me how to stay in my book and like learn like what I have to do to get on that field. So I made sure I stayed in books, studied my plays, and paid attention every day. And I leave it all on the field. Do what I had to do to help my team win, and I just leave it all on the field.
Wow, man, you are fun to watch. I mean, the handful of highlights I just had the opportunity. I just saw you get flipped over and you stayed on your feet and you kept running. I mean, that was ridiculous. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's one thing to see the highlights. We're looking forward to coming down and seeing you in person, and you plan on seeing us at plenty of your games this year.
Oh, yeah, man, I appreciate it. I just want to thank God, my family, my coaches for giving me an opportunity, and also the fans, the nice man. They the main reason I do it. I love to see kids smiling, happy, to see us players out there making plays, and at the end of the day, it's all about them.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for being on the show and, being patient with us and taking the time to talk to us about your new free agent signing with the Quad City Steamwheelers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
I just want to say one thing. Is it February yet?
We're counting the days.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to know.
As soon as Super Bowl hits, then it's all indoor for about 8 straight months.
And I got to tell you, it's some of the best time of the year as far as football is concerned, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, just all the energy, because you can just tell you love football, because you've been doing this professionally since 2009. All the crazy stops all over America. You must have a million stories. Can't wait to hear some more of them. Can't wait till next time you're on the show, really.
Yeah, we'd love to have you on again.
Okay, appreciate it.
All right, well, Darren Clark, thank you very much for coming on the show. We'll be back on I'm Football 365 covering pro football around the world, and that was a fun chat. So we'll be back in a minute.
And we'll be coming back and talking more about the CFL and the indoor and arena news.
All right, we'll be back on I'm Football covering 365.
The reason I'm out here at the Illinois Media School is the radio business, while there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of stations, the people in the business is a small, tight-knit group. Everybody kind of knows everybody, and I love the opportunity of being able to connect with people who have a passion to get into this business. I had great instructors as I came up through the ranks, and I really enjoy the opportunity of being able to give back, connect, share the experiences I have, and actually learn from the students as well. I think it's great that we're able to learn from each other. Your Illinois Media School students, the age range can be students who have just gotten out of high school to people who are looking for a new career option or looking to add to their career placement. They want to get involved with media, whether it's radio, television, in front of the camera, behind the camera, and that's what I think is such a great opportunity out here, is the fact that you can do radio and television, but it's not your choice. They require you to do both. I wish I had the TV and camera opportunities that the students are going to get here, plus all the hands-on activity. My name is Dustin Rhodes. I'm the executive producer with the Mully and Hanley Show on 670 The Score, and I am IMS.
How did I hear about IMS? Well, it was about 16 years ago, and I was doing college radio just for fun. Had no purpose whatsoever until a buddy of mine, Dave Durov, who signed up for classes that same time I was there, told me about IMS, and I signed up. And before you know it, I was going to school, learning about radio, learning about TV, and I realized, hey, I can actually do this for a living. So 9 months later, I graduated. What do I think about my time at IMS? It was a lot of fun. I mean, there was learning involved, but it was good learning. I didn't feel like I was going to school. I felt like I was having a good time. The classmates were great. We had a good time in group projects. We had a great time doing our solo projects. So I felt like it was very important for me to get that before I did radio professionally. How would I describe students at IMS? Dedicated. Dedicated students for sure. IMS knows how to put the right kind of pressure on students to get things done, and I feel that the students there, knowing that if they want a career, they got to work hard. They got to do what you got to do what you got to do. And IMS really nails it that way. They do a good job of enforcing that and making sure it's also fun while you're doing it. Hi, my name is Edgar Ibarra. I'm the program director for Nash FM 104.9 and Nash FM 99.5 in Northeast Wisconsin. I'm a graduate of the IMS Lombard campus, and I am IMS.
Welcome back to I Want Football 365, covering pro football around the world. And we have Canadian Football League up next. This regular season just ended with this couple of really fun games.
Yeah, week 20 was exciting, and it still had some. There were still some outcomes that needed to be determined on how we're going to position things for the playoffs.
This sounds funny. Week 20.
Yeah.
18 games and 2 bye weeks, so the season does go on for the whole summer, and then goes right before December. So once these playoffs are over, then it's the NFL playoffs, and that's the start of the regional season.
Loving it.
Well, the first game, Alouettes at the Tiger Cats, and so the Alouettes have had a real tough season. They started off 2-1, then it's went downhill.
Yeah, they started off that they might be okay, and then they just crumbled. It was a shellacking by the Tiger Cats.
Which, on their story season, is just as bad. They started off, 0-7?
Yeah, they're like that. You actually started off on the Tiger Cat bandwagon, and then there was that wagon fell apart completely.
So the general manager fired the head coach, who was himself.
Yes. How often does that happen?
And then they started on a tear. Well, tear for them, they were 500 rest of the way, so they could have had a pretty good season. They did a little earlier. But this game, they showed up to play, won 33-0, and it's really tough to get shut out in the Canadian game, because if you get a touchback, you get a point.
That's right.
Or kick off a touchback. And they still managed it. So the Alouettes, they probably just well, game's over. I'm going to clean out my locker.
Well, the Tiger Cats got to go on a high note. It's much better to go out with a win than it is with a loss. The Alouettes need to go back to the chalkboard. I think that they just need to implode that entire team and start from scratch and start the rebuilding process right now. They might as well be the 76ers.
Yeah, Jock Shot Delane getting a lot of grief up there. So the Alouettes and 3-15. That is a 0.167 winning percentage. That's not going to get it done.
No.
Tiger Cats and 6-12, so 0.333. Real tough season, but actually back half season was pretty good for them.
Yeah, I mean they have some actually things that they can build off of with the proper coaching and a couple tweaks. That team could be right back in the thick of things next year, but I don't want them to be.
Well, that's because Tiger Cats are the arch enemy of the Argonauts.
If that's what you want to call an arch enemy, considering how they're non-existent this year. But yes, I do feel you on that. They have been.
That's like saying the Bears can't be rivals because they never show up.
Oh, look out! This is true. Don't get me started on the Packers who can't even find an open receiver.
Well, cameras can. It's not the quarterbacks.
That's right.
Well, the next game Friday night, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers went into the Calgary Stampeders home field.
You got to watch out for them Blue Bombers, man. They're always they're a tricky team to pick. They never know which one you're going to get.
Yeah, they won 23-5 to split them up. Calgary has lost 3 in a row. Calgary last year they were 16-1 or something.
Yeah, I mean I thought they were the favorites to win it all, and it seems like they're having like a late season slump here at the worst time possible going into the playoffs. I don't know how it's going to translate.
And this is the 3rd loss in a row. So they start out the season 13-1-1, then losing 3 in a row, but they had nothing to play for this week. They had the first overall seed in the West, which is a tougher division, so the road goes through Calgary for the Grey Cup. Blue Bombers, they were fighting for seeding because if they won, they get a home game. If they lost, they would have to go on the road. So, but still, 23-5. Blue Bombers start off pretty slow in the beginning, picked it up towards the end.
Yeah, they're one of those teams I'm just not sure what you're going to get. One week they give you some kind of effort that makes you think that they're an elite team, and then the next week they're laying an egg, and you don't know what you're getting. So again, it's the regular season's over, the new season's begun, and we'll see how the Blue Bombers react in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'll see how the Stampeders react because they haven't really played a meaningful game in weeks. They've been far ahead.
I mean, are they just dozing off into sleep here? Or are they? I don't know what's going to happen with them. I'm not trusting the Stampeders at the moment.
All right. Well, Game 3 had the Edmonton Eskimos go to Saskatchewan, which is the best name, Saskatchewan Roughriders, and the Eskimos lit them up 28-13.
Yeah, I mean the Roughriders, they're not a bad team, and they scoring 13, that's no joke either against the Eskimos. But Riley's too much. And they're ranked number 1 in the power ranking this week. The Edmonton Eskimos. Yeah, they're number 1 for a reason. They're everyone's favorite to move forward in the Grey Cup, I believe.
Well, they had an interesting season. Started out 7-0, undefeated. Looked like they beat everyone in the world. Then they lost 6 in a row.
Yep.
Looked like they couldn't beat anyone. Then they won 5 in a row.
That's one hell of a roller coaster ride to be
Right.
on, and for them to be able to lose 6 in a row and then come back and do what they've done is pretty impressive. And again, it's about who's getting hot right now. The regular season's over; those records mean nothing aside from seeding, which has already been taking place. Now it's a matter of you're one and done, and so your best effort needs to be put on the field this next game.
And so the Eskimos will get the 3rd seed, so they're going on the road. Blue Bombers 12-6, both teams. But Eskimos have Mike Riley. Mike Riley's getting really hot. He's a pretty streaky player.
I mean, he's up for most outstanding player in the league for a reason. For me, it's a tight race between him and Ricky Ray.
I'm sure you're going to anything Argonauts. It's not a tight race. It's Argonauts.
I would like to see Ricky Ray get the MOP. I think he deserves it. He's been in the league for 15 years, and he's breaking records left and right, but you can't discount what Riley has done with the Eskimos. As a matter of fact, I feel like those two teams are on a collision course for the Grey Cup.
Yeah, Rough Riders started out pretty slow in the season, but they've built it up. They've taken people by surprise, so they're also going to the playoffs. They're actually going into the east side. It's on the western part of the country, but just the way that the seeding worked out, they're the crossover team.
And they're playing the Red Blacks.
Yes, Red Blacks, who were off last week.
Yep, so they get a bye week going into the playoffs, which is probably going to be helpful for them. I'm going to have to go with the Rough Riders. They've got Chad Owens, the Flying Hawaiians, back, and he's helping them out. Duron Carter can play both sides of the ball, apparently.
Are you going to skip the Argonauts win?
Oh, no, the Argonauts win. Oh, I haven't skipped.
No.
We're going to go to it.
We're going to go back to it?
Oh, we're going back to
okay.
it. As a matter of fact, I might as well go to it, I guess, since you mentioned it. The Argonauts obviously sealed the number 1 seed for the East by beating up on the British Columbia Lions 40-13, and I mean beating them up.
Ooh, yeah.
They didn't mess around. They put their foot on them and made sure that they didn't come up for air. And this is what I'm hoping to see from the Argonauts from the rest of the playoffs. I think it's very possible. Like I said, Ricky Ray's been breaking records. S.J. Green's been breaking records. They're so much speed, and I don't think people can defend it.
A couple of the BC Lion fans I know are saying the score seemed better than it was. 40-13 was lucky. It was just sad. They're supposed to have a great season. The Lions came in as one of the favorites. They just got toughed out. Both the quarterbacks got hurt early in the year. Then S.J. Green, he's had a great season.
I mean, 104 receptions. I mean, it's an all-time great season for him. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Martese Jackson, the most outstanding special teams player. This guy is electrifying. He would be the Devin Hester of the Toronto Argonauts. When this guy touches the ball, every time he touches it, he is, potentially in the end zone. I mean, he's so fast, it's unbelievable. He'll tiptoe that sideline. You think you've got him running out of bounds, and he's gone.
And then I love this stat, most completion single season. Ricky Ray, number 3, behind himself at number 2.
Yeah, and look at Henry Burris. That was just done last year in his final season in the CFL. I mean, that's a great list to be on. Doug Flutie, Anthony Calvillo, Ricky Ray, and Henry Burris. Those are all Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I think I would love to see Ricky Ray. This is kind of like when Peyton Manning and John Elway were trying to get their Super Bowls at the end of their career. I want to see him get one more Grey Cup before he heads out. And I'm not even sure if he's done. He had such a great season. Why wouldn't he consider potentially coming back?
If you get to play with S.J. Green a few more times, do that, because he makes highlight reel catches all the time. You give him a 50-50 ball, he's getting it 85% of the time.
I mean, it's just fun for me to sit here and say that we clinched the East Division when I don't think anybody thought that we could. I mean, there really was
roll back the tape, because I know that you had your 5-minute rant in the first show.
Oh, I already have my rant, so I'm calmed down now. But, just being able to put up all these images, the Eastern Final, knowing that we, well in advance it was called, and everyone's like, yeah, Kanicki's on that Toronto Argonaut program, whatever. But it's happening. Reality, I've spoken into existence. Oh, congratulations to Coach Trustman, by the way, from another Hall of Famer, Joe Theismann, who is also a Toronto Argonaut alumni. Thanks, Joe. We love you.
He's watching right now, I'm sure, too. He's saying thank you for noticing. All right, well, first round of the playoffs next week. Like we said, we have Saskatchewan at Ottawa. You picking Saskatchewan?
Yeah, I don't want to because I'm afraid of them. I think they can be dangerous, but I don't believe that Ottawa's got the firepower, but they do have the defense.
Yep.
So they could be a spoiler. I think it'll be one of the better games to watch.
Yeah, I've got Saskatchewan on that one, too. And the winner of that game plays Toronto.
Correct.
The winner of the game plays Toronto.
Yes, the winner of that game loses to Toronto the following week.
I believe that's incorrect. Saskatchewan, I think, takes the East.
Well, we'll see. You don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know if we'll be back next week, so we'll put this on camera right now. But Edmonton, and we'll go to Winnipeg for the other game for the West. Winnipeg is home team.
I can't believe that Winnipeg gets the home game. That's very fortunate for them. Mm-hmm. It's very fortunate that they get the home game. That is going to be helpful in the grand scheme of things. But I have to believe that the Eskimos are going to take them. And not just take them, I think they're going to decisively beat them.
I think Edmonton's on a roll right now, and I'm on the Mike Riley bandwagon.
He looks good out there, man. He's a talented individual.
It has been a great year for quarterbacks in green and gold, from my experience. So it's nice to have at least one green and gold quarterback look pretty good.
Nothing like a quick jinx by Michael Heim.
Yeah, if he got broken collarbone, we'll know what happened. So Edmonton over Winnipeg. Then they will face the Calgary Stampeders. What do you have for that one?
I still got to go Edmonton. I'm not putting down what the Calgary Stampeders are putting in. I don't think that I think they have a hangover from losing the Grey Cup last year in the fashion that they did, and I don't know if they just lost that edge. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're going to come out and crush everybody, but I don't think that they have the same kind of fire that they did last year as they were rolling into the Grey Cup.
Yeah, it's interesting to see a team lose the last three. I mean, 13-4-1's a pretty good season, but when you're losing the last three.
Yeah, momentum is everything, and they're going to have a week off here, and they got to watch everybody else play while people are building momentum and chemistry right at the right time. This is when you want to be hitting on all cylinders, not like trying to figure things out.
And then another announcement about the Toronto game is the Flutie brothers are playing.
Yeah, that's for the Grey Cup, not for that. But yes, Ed, thanks for mentioning the Flutie brothers. He has his own band. Doug Flutie will be performing at halftime at the Grey Cup this year. What a wonderful treat for everybody.
And this is the 20-year celebration of one of the Grey Cup winning teams, and they had a Doug Flutie bobblehead day. And that was a loud stadium that day.
It was awesome. Yeah, it has been 20 years since the Doug Flutie Grey Cup Championship in Toronto. So we are on the anniversary of that. I'm excited. It'll be Grey Cup 105, if I'm correct, and the last Grey Cup that the Argonauts won was 5 years ago. So I think our time is now.
Every 5 years?
Every year is ideal, but I will take every 5 years. I think if this is another Mark Trustman dynasty that he's putting together. Remember, last time he was with the Alouettes, he pulled off a handful of Grey Cups. I think that he's going to do that again with Toronto over the next couple course of this year. Whether Ricky Ray stays or not, I think that you're going to see at least 3 Grey Cups over the next 5 years in Toronto.
Well, that was Montreal teams that he had. Those are also great in the regular season.
Yes.
The East is just so bad right now.
Well, we'll see. That's why I think it's kind of like a LeBron James thing. That's why I think Ricky Ray needs to stick around because the East,
go in the right conference.
Just stick in the right conference and let the West beat themselves up over in Canada and have Ricky Ray come on in and save the day.
That's what the Outer Redblacks did last year.
Yes.
They were 8-9-1.
And Henry Burris saved the day for them. But that was one of the most epic Grey Cups I've ever watched. Period. It went into overtime. You couldn't help but root for Henry Burris.
And it was a very similar scenario to the Super Bowl. There was a large lead, and then came back late, and then over in overtime.
Yeah,
it was a great game.
High-powered offense. You're right. Calgary Stampeders with Bo Levi Mitchell, another great name in football. Mm-hmm. He's just a talented individual, and he had them up just like the Falcons were up on the Patriots. But you couldn't discount the heart of a champion, whether it's Tom Brady or Henry Burris. He just willed those teams back to winning, and they haven't looked back since.
All right, well, I think that does it for us tonight.
Oh, no, we still got a little talking about some indoor football.
Oh, don't forget. My apologies.
Yes, there's some indoor football news I want to talk about. We have 5 leagues that we're going to have the opportunity to cover next year in 2018. And we have a new league called the American Arena League, and it's going to have roughly about 11 teams in it, if I'm correct.
Yes. Numbers seem to change every once in a while, but
Yeah, the leagues always are in flux, but there are some familiar names. The Vermont Bucks are going to be in. The Florida Tarpons are going to be in this league. The Georgia Doom, they've been around. The Cape Fear Heroes, they've been around for a couple of years. The Richmond Rough Riders, I think they're going to be one of the powerhouses in that league this year. And it's just an opportunity, as you can tell, that it gives us more football to cover. Our brand expands. And I'm excited to see what this new league can do. I mean, some people are like, "Oh, it's a new league," and how whatever. Well, so was the National Arena League last year, and it ended up being one of the better leagues that we had the opportunity to cover. So I'm excited that we get another league to add to the mix of all this. And what are some of the other leagues? Well, the AFL's expanded.
Yep. Albany's announced.
Albany is now going to be a part of the AFL. The IFL gained Bloomington Edge and the Western Michigan Ironmen. So the CIF obviously is going to be who they are. We've had the opportunity to talk to 2 players from that league this year. I mean, that's going to be a great league to watch. We're just got so much more football to cover after this. The CFL and the NFL are over with. Then boom, we're thrown into 5 new leagues. And I'm just looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun next year.
Yeah, there'd be no issue with missing football.
No,
There's so much good football to cover.
And that's, I think, what obviously what we're trying to do here at I Want Football 365 is to educate everybody, help people follow the journey and let people know there's more to football than just the NFL. If you are a football fanatic, you can find good football on all year long, and our goal is to help lead you to it.
You can tell that they love the game because they do a lot of work for it. They have to work a second job a lot of times, and he's like Darren Clark going all over the country, like all the stories he must have while going to Canada even.
Yeah, I mean, he had
different rule sets.
He had the opportunity to be looked at. All 32 NFL teams checked him out. He went up to Canada to even, go under. I mean, how many times we get a chance to mention Mark Trestman today in our show? That was interesting enough. And then to watch his highlights and all the great success that he's already had.
He must have known about the hip swing early.
That was perfect timing. It was really remarkable how he called that hip swinging highlight right as it happened.
I had a visual of this giving guys hula hoops on the football field so they can actually just work on it.
Well, again, this has been a fun show for us, folks. We enjoy covering football. We hope you enjoy listening to it with us. We're going to be having another show soon. We'll be keeping you guys posted, and we're going to be going on location very soon here to a couple different places so you guys can all come out and see us live. And, at the end here, we want to make sure that we take the time to thank all the sponsors and all the wonderful people that help make this show happen. And special thanks to Ryan Fahey and Peter Ferreri for always doing a great job for us. Thank you very much.
Yes, much appreciative. Thank you very much, Anthony Ionati and Darren Clark for calling in, especially Darren because all the mishaps that we had, but he was a great sport about it. And, yeah, we'll talk to him again soon.
All right, everyone. Have a good night.
Take it easy, guys.